back. We have a powerful conversation, and we've been talking about medical gaslighting. It is not just a hot topic right now. It's a topic that can save a life. Gaslighting, by the way, over Millenopause. Have you heard of it? I didn't until our team shared with me. Experts say the first wave of millennials are entering menopause. And there are even some social media memes saying that, I love this one, if you can sing all the words to Salt and Pepper's Push It, you might be perimenopausal. It's like, that's so funny. But a slew of women in their 40s are turning to social media to sound the alarm, and they are not willing to be ignored. Take a look.
If you are being dismissed by your doctor as a perimenopausal woman, you are not alone.
2 months ago, I went to my OBGYN and I said, I'm not feeling like myself. And she was like, well, you're still getting your period, so everything's normal.
I was getting all sorts of perimenopausal symptoms, and I thought, I'm too young to be experiencing this.
Here's one thing I want every Black woman to know about perimenopause and menopause. The perimenopause transition can be longer for women of color and Black women in particular.
As strong women, we often know what others need before they need it. We need to apply that same to us, that same theory.
Don't be afraid to advocate for yourself.
There you go. And it's called Millenopause. Now, our next guests are leading the way, giving women the tools to navigate the health system. As I mentioned to you, this is not a show just for us to hear the hard stories. It's to find solutions. And Dr. Sharon Malone has been in the TAM fam since our big menopause episode, season 4. She's a leading obstetrician and gynecologist and a certified menopause practitioner, the author of the New York Times bestseller, Grown Woman Talk, your guide to getting and staying healthy. And Dr. Jennifer Mieres is one of modern healthcare's top diversity leaders, professor of cardiology of Northwell Health, co-author of Heart Smarter for Women, 6 Weeks to a Healthier Heart. And she's the executive producer of the award-winning documentary Misdiagnosed that uncovers the nearly lethal misdiagnosis and delayed diagnosis of 3 women. Tam fam, please welcome them to the show. Dr. Malone, the menopause conversation and the fact that so many women still feel not heard, because it's not just hot flashes. And we want to live our best lives.
Exactly. And the problem is that we think of menopause as something that's for old ladies, right? No, it's for women sometimes in their late 30s, early 40s. And when you go to the doctor and you start complaining about any of these 34 symptoms, which can be mood disturbances, brain fog, not feeling like yourself, sexual function problems, when you go and complain of that with your physician, the doctors often don't know that it's part of menopause either, like heart palpitations. And when
That's something you talked with Oprah about when you did this special with her.
Yes.
Because heart palpitations is something people don't know how to process or diagnose.
Exactly.
Why is this important, and why is it different in men and women?
Well, I think for women, particularly for young women in their 40s, when they are concerned, that, and rightfully so, they will go see a cardiologist, and then they get a workup, and then they go, well, it's nothing. And so no one is really putting the whole picture together, that perimenopause is a transition. It lasts for years, and in some cases, a decade. And that's a long time for women to suffer.
Dr. Mieres, you focus on the heart,
yes,
the heart health. We've known this for a while. Women and men are being processed differently when it comes to cardiovascular health. How do we advocate for ourselves in that arena?
Well, I think we have learned over the past 2 decades that heart disease is an equal opportunity killer. And more women than men have been dying from heart disease. And we need to know that there are differences in presentation, in diagnosis, and in treatment strategy, because women are not small men, as one of my colleagues say, right? And we get treated like small men. And I think it's important that as women go to their doctors or work with the medical team, and we're talking about heart disease, know the symptoms for heart disease.
And we have those listed here, the symptoms and the difference. But when I'm going into the medical office, right, you're feeling pain. Should I go in with like a binder? Am I ready to record? What,
Yes. It is a partnership. I always say you look at the medical association between you and your doctor as a partnership. What happens in a partnership? You come in with your notes as to what's happening so that they'll take you seriously. The doctor has to listen. And it's a co-creation of symptoms, right? And I always say, take a friend or phone a friend. Because when we go to the doctor's office, I'm guilty of this. I suddenly have brain fog. Right? So I think You know, so knowing your risk factors, women who have had pregnancy-related complications, preeclampsia, gestational diabetes, hypertension, are at risk for heart disease 5 to 15 years later. So if you've had pregnancy-related complications, and this new data from the American Heart Association, we now know you need to talk to your doctor about heart disease later on.
Dr. Malone, I'm always looking for a way to make the partnership work with our doctors. We know most doctors are great. You are two of the best in the world. But we also recognize that sometimes it's a position of authority. Mm-hmm. There are doctors who have God complexes. Mm-hmm. There are doctors you have to go see because of your insurance. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. How do you walk in? Is there a golden rule here of when we're walking in and we have very specific symptoms?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, you know, that is exactly why I wrote my book, because a lot of people don't realize what your part is in this situation. And I think that a lot of it is storytelling. You have to learn how to be a good storyteller of your story, because if you don't know how to do that, you're not going to get a good outcome on the other end.
How do we tell our story when we're going into the doctor?
And that is really what I talk about. What is important about your medical history? What is important about your family history? Bring the things that you need to bring with you. If you've had surgeries, if you're on medications, know what the medications are and what doses they are. Most women come in and they're like, you know, something, high blood pressure medication. But these are very concrete things that you do, because in today's world, you're going to get less and less time in front of a doctor.
Right.
You've got 5 to 7 minutes.
Yeah. Okay.
You got 5 to 7
so
minutes.
You got 5 to 7 minutes to go in there clearly with this is when I felt this is when I felt that.
Exactly.
When do you see a second opinion?
A second opinion, first of all, if your doctor is not listening to you and you're feeling that you're being ignored or gaslit, hitting the pause button saying, wait a minute, we have got to connect here. If you feel you're not being taken seriously, it's time to phone a friend and get another recommendation.
Dr. Malone's book, write it down, give it as a gift. It is called Grown Woman Talk. Dr. Jennifer Mieres' book, write it down, give it as a gift. It is called Heart Smarter for Women, available where books are sold. Write it down. Should I give it as a gift? You're both getting